Hello and welcome to week 17 of IOnTheTigers, a podcast all about the National Ice Hockey League, but one that always has an eye on the Telford Tigers. So this week what we'll do is we'll round up the second week of pre-season games and take a look ahead to the start of the season beginning in earnest this coming weekend. Before we do that though, this is a podcast about the Telford Tigers, or certainly with a focus on the Telford Tigers. So let's check in and see what's happening at the Tigers at the moment. So the big news coming out of Tigers camp is that Brady Hepner will not be icing for the Tigers in the upcoming season. He's actually retired from the game due to concussion. So obviously best thoughts are with him. Hope he's well. So the Tigers will be starting the season with just two non-British trained players. Also, whilst we're speaking about the Tigers, the season got underway for the Tigers 2 side. It was a win at home against Nottingham on Saturday, and then Sunday it was a trip up to Altrincham, also a win. So 2 from 2, great start there for Tigers 2. Moving back to National Ice Hockey League, the National League, what we'll do is we'll take a look now at the second weekend of pre-season games and how they went. So, starting with the Tigers, because it is a podcast that always has an eye on the Telford Tigers. We took on the Phantoms. It was a fairly big loss, 8-2, down in Peterborough on the Saturday night. Turned it around on the Sunday night and a 6-3 win. So, a home win apiece there for the two teams. Leeds took on Solway, and it was 2 wins there for Leeds, which I don't think was perhaps too much for a surprise. Leeds looking in some pretty good form again going into the season. Sheffield took on Hull. Each team got a home win, so pleased to get a win in front of their supporters. And the same happened with Swindon taking on Bristol, a home win apiece. This one perhaps a little bit more of a surprise. I mean, Bristol have been a bit of a bogey team perhaps for Swindon, but I really did expect Swindon to win both those games. Certainly if they have any hopes to perhaps be winning the title, it's games that I think you'd expect them to win. But on the flip side, it is pre-season, so quite how much we can read into it, perhaps only time will tell. And then finally, Raiders and Bees. So first game at Slough was a draw, and then Raiders won the return game. So that concludes pre-season. The action itself, in terms of the league, gets underway I would say this coming weekend, but actually it starts on Friday with Peterborough hosting Hull. It's an interesting start to the season because I feel that Peterborough perhaps a little bit weaker than last season. Hull stronger than last season, so it's going to be quite interesting to see how this one goes. I think it's going to be a tight game, but Peterborough are going to win that one, is my prediction. Moving on to the Saturday, Tigers get their campaign underway in Solway. It's a really tough opening fixture. You know, could say yes, it's a long trip, but you know there are going to be other long trips throughout the season. It is a long trip, but first home league game for Solway in the league. I just think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tight, but I think Solway are going to win it. Don't know, perhaps in overtime. I could see perhaps going to that and Solway pipping Tigers there in front of what's bound to be a big and noisy crowd. Also on the Saturday, got Bees taking on Peterborough. I fancy Peterborough to win that one. Swindon hosts Sheffield. Fourth place, fifth from last season. Should be tight. I'm going to go for a Swindon win. Perhaps there are doubts over this fixture though, because big storm in Swindon last night and Link Centre's been damaged, and in fact it's closed until further notice. So might not even go ahead this coming Saturday. We wait and see. But I'm going to go for Swindon just to win that one. Overtime win though. That's what I'm going to go for. In fact, that one could even go to penalties. Thinking about it, I'm going to go for Swindon on penalties. For that. MK host Raiders. That's going to be a win for MK, I feel. And then Bristol take on Leeds. You've got to go for an away win there. Leeds will win at Bristol. On the Sunday, Telford host the Bees. I fancy us to win at home there and get our first win of the season. Hull take on Swindon. Tight, but I'm going to go for Hull to win at home. We'll see what happens. Raiders take on Solway. I fancy Raiders to win this one. With sort of Saturday, it's going to be a big event for Solway, and yeah, I just think Raiders are going to have a bit too much the following day for them. Sheffield host MK. MK to get the win there, and then finally Leeds. Well, not finally because it's in no particular order, but I guess to round out the fixtures, Leeds host Bristol. Leeds to get a win there. So that concludes my roundup and look ahead. As always, get in touch, leave me a comment, let me know what you think about my predictions for the upcoming week. Look forward to reading them, look forward to engaging with you. I'll see you next week where we take a look at the results and also look ahead to week 2 of the National. Bye for now.